So let's talk about enterprise AI. It's this huge promise that you hear in every boardroom, right? But how do you actually take a brilliant AI concept and turn it into something that makes a real, measurable impact? Well, it turns out most companies really struggle with this. And that is the billion-dollar problem we're going to unpack today.
You've probably seen this happen. A team comes up with an amazing AI idea, but it just gets stuck. It becomes a cool science project, super impressive on a technical level, but it never actually moves the needle for the business. So the big question is, how do you avoid that trap?
Well, success requires a map, and this is it. It's called the Enterprise AI Use Case Approach. The best way to think of it is as a playbook, a guide that takes an idea from just a little spark of inspiration all the way to real-world impact by breaking the whole journey down into clear, manageable steps.
So let's start right at the beginning. The first major phase is all about finding the right idea. And listen, this is absolutely crucial because if you start with the wrong problem, I guarantee you'll end up with a worthless solution no matter how amazing the technology is. This phase breaks down into three key steps. First, you identify opportunities. Then, you run them through a kind of intake and triage process. And finally, you prioritize the best ones and build a rock-solid business case. It's basically a funnel designed to find the real gold.
Now, what's so important about this identify stage is the focus. It's not about finding a problem for your cool new AI tech. No. It's about starting with real business problems, looking at existing pain points or maybe super high volume work, and finding places where you can create measurable value. The business need has to come first, always.
Okay, so you've got a few good ideas on the table. How do you choose which one to bet on? That's where step 3 comes in, and it uses a really powerful tool, the prioritization scorecard. This isn't about gut feelings or who shouts the loudest. It's a framework to objectively score each project on things like, does it fit our strategy? What's the potential ROI? How will we even know if we succeeded? This forces you to make data-driven decisions right from the start. And all of that work leads to the first major checkpoint, Gate 0, or G0. The question here is simple, but it is so important. Is this a real business problem that's actually worth solving? This is where you have to be ruthless. Saying no at this stage saves you a world of pain and wasted resources down the line. A yes, though, that's your green light to really get started. All right, your idea made it through Gate 0. Awesome. We've confirmed we have a problem worth solving. So the next phase is all about turning that plan into a working pilot. This phase covers 3 more big steps. First, a really thorough risk and governance assessment. Then you get into the actual design and data readiness work. And finally, you build and test the idea in a pilot. This is where the concept starts to feel tangible, something you can actually see and touch. But wait, before you even start designing, you hit another critical checkpoint, Gate 1. Here, you have to prove you've assessed all the potential risks. We're talking about privacy, security, legal compliance, all the serious stuff that can totally sink a project if you ignore it. You need that approval here to make sure you're building responsibly before you spend a ton of money on development. Now we get to step 6, the pilot. This is where the rubber really meets the road. The goal isn't to build a perfect finished product. It's to build a minimum viable solution so you can test your core assumptions. You're basically checking 4 things. Is it technically safe and accurate? Do real users actually find it valuable and easy to use? Is it delivering on the business outcomes we hoped for? And does it work like it's supposed to with real-world data? Which brings us right to Gate 2. After the pilot is done, you have to ask, did it work? Did it meet the thresholds we set for business value, for risk, and for technical quality? This is your big evidence-based decision point on whether or not this thing is ready to scale up. Let's say the pilot was a huge success. Congratulations. But hold on, the journey isn't over yet, not by a long shot. The final phase is all about scaling that value and, just as importantly, sustaining it across the entire organization. This last phase has 2 really distinct steps. Step 7, deploy and adopt, is about getting the solution out there into the wild and making sure people actually use it. Then you move into step 8, operate, monitor, and improve, which is the long-term commitment to keeping the solution effective and valuable for years to come. It's really important to see the difference here. Deployment, that's an active project. You're rolling it out, stages, you're training teams, and you're driving adoption. Operation, on the other hand, is the ongoing business-as-usual part. You're tracking performance against your KPIs and making sure the solution continues to deliver value over its entire life. And this leads to the final gate, Gate 3, which
honestly isn't really a one-time gate at all. It's a reoccurring question you have to keep asking. Based on its performance, should we scale the solution even further? Should we improve it? Or, hey, maybe it's time to retire it? Because AI is definitely not a set it and forget it technology.
So, we've just walked through all 8 steps in order, but if you look closer at this map, you'll see something else going on. There are 3 continuous activities, 3 keys to success that are running in parallel underneath this entire process, from start to finish.
The first key is governance and risk. This isn't just one step you check off a list. It is the absolute foundation for everything else. It's this continuous process of setting policies, managing risks, and getting the right approvals. Without this constant oversight, you could build something that's non-compliant, unsafe, or that nobody trusts, which would make the entire project worthless. The second key, adoption and change, is honestly the one most companies get wrong. I mean, you can build the most brilliant AI tool on the planet, but if people don't use it, it delivers zero value. This whole track is about the human element, getting executives on board, communicating clearly, training people properly, and actually listening to their feedback. This is what ensures the solution doesn't just exist, it thrives. And the third key is delivery essentials. This is the technical backbone of the entire project. We're talking about the constant behind-the-scenes stuff like figuring out data ownership, doing security reviews, and planning the architecture. It's not the flashy AI model itself, but it's the solid, secure, and scalable foundation that makes everything else possible. So the main takeaway here is pretty clear. Success isn't just about following those 8 steps in a line. It's about managing this continuous journey across these 3 parallel tracks. Think of it this way. The 8 steps are the road, but governance, adoption, and delivery, they're the wheels, the engine, and the safety features that actually get your car to its destination. So as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Looking at this complete map, the steps, the gates, and those continuous tracks, where are the biggest roadblocks in your organization's AI journey? Is it about finding the right ideas? Is it about piloting them effectively? Or maybe it's in one of those underlying currents, like getting people to adopt the tech or getting the governance right. It's a really powerful way to figure out exactly where to focus your energy. Thanks for digging into this with me.